Feel new about this room since, and it's been like what, a month since I've been in here.
Yeah,
So.
they finally got the baseboards down, so that was one thing.
Oh,
We're still finishing up our construction.
that would be nice to be done as well. Okay, so it's. Is it recording? Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay, we are recording an audio set, so we'll start by answering questions I already know the answer to.
Yeah.
Can you tell me your first and last name and spell them both for me?
Cody Grace, Codygrace.
Okay, great. And then can you also tell me your title?
I am. Do you want my professional title or?
What would
or
you
just
prefer?
that?
It'll
Okay.
be lower third, so
Let's
whatever you
lower third title. Let's say Texas House candidate for HD6.
Perfect. That is perfect. All right. So can you tell me about your platform? Just give me an overview.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things that happen in the Texas House, the Texas legislature, but the primary things that need to happen revolve around public funding, state budget funding, and public education is a huge part of that. So public education funding and healthcare access are my two primary concerns, my primary initiatives.
Okay. And so this kind of encompasses what I just asked you, but when it comes to your first priorities, if you were elected, what would those be?
First priorities are going to be to start building coalitions. As a freshman member, I think there's a lot more freshman members this time. We've had a lot of retirements and a lot of people stepping down after the governor's attacks on his party. So we have a lot of new members in office. So I think this is a prime opportunity to start building relationships, building coalitions that work towards new initiatives. So just getting to know people to start with. The legislature meets every 2 years for 140 days. It's a real short time cycle. And in that time cycle, it's real important to start working with people throughout the state and finding out what their priorities are and seeing how they mesh with our priorities and see how we can work together on those initiatives. Public education is a very bipartisan issue, so there's a lot of Republicans that care about their public school systems. There's a lot of Democrats that care about their public school systems. So working together to make sure those public school systems are the best they can be in the state as well as the nation.
Okay. And I know that's a hot topic right now.
It is.
Especially with,
Yeah.
With the surplus of money that
Right.
was just found out a couple weeks ago. But
Oh, we had a surplus all last cycle too. It just wasn't appropriated. And that was specifically because the governor did not want to see public education rise. So, yep.
And so that'll be one of the things you focus on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And with this seat, we will have a new representative regardless of who wins the election. So what do you think the legacy that Mr. Schaefer leaves behind, or what do you think of it?
That's a good question. I didn't always agree with a lot of the things that Matt Schaefer pushed for legislatively. He did pass some really good vocational programs that I think will see a lasting impact. He was also author of the permitless carry bill, which has been very controversial and not something that I support, but I know he'll be remembered for that.
Okay. And this is a very highly contested election on a national and local level. Why do you think it's so important for people to come out and vote and make their voices heard?
Well, like you said, it's a hotly contested race. There are some very broad opinions out there, very polarized opinions, and at every level. I think, we've got a very controversial presidential race. We've got a very controversial Senate race as well. And then we have state legislature races throughout the state that are very important, especially for things like public education and public funding. But I think it's most important for you to get out, you right there, to get out and vote, because this is how we express our opinion. This is how we form society. This is how we form that nation that we live in, and how we make sure that it might not always be our perfect vision, but it's everybody's perfect vision put together. So the goal is to vote so that we have a representation and a representative that we can talk to that can pass those initiatives like school funding or healthcare access or lower housing costs or making sure our food and gas is not as expensive as we want it, as it should be, or not as expensive as we want it to be right now.
Okay. And for people, could you give me a summary for people who might not know you or your policies or what you stand for?
Yeah.
What would you tell them to just give a little bit about you to let them know who you are better?
So I'm a Smith County native, Tyler, born and raised, lived here my entire life, grew up in the public school system, graduated from the public school system, went to TJC, went to UT Tyler. I've lived here my entire life. I've got buy-in in this community. I'm a small business owner. I just want to see this community do better, and I want to see us succeed on a state and national level, and I think good representation is a part of that. So making sure we have good people representing our community in Austin, and not representing special interests or billionaire interests, and making sure that, just the regular everyday mom and pop, small business owner or parent or, single mom, making sure that we are representing them just as much as everybody else. I think that's an important thing.
And getting this close to election day, what do you want people to know?
Something will happen in a week. What that will be, none of us know, I guess. But I think it's real important to continue to be involved with your community, to continue to be involved with the things that you care about, making sure you express your opinion appropriately, but also listening to other people's opinions appropriately, and making sure that we're all working together to build our community and our state and our nation as a whole.
And is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you want to talk about, want people to know?
Oh man, there's so many things.
Maybe anything major, I'll say.
At this point, probably, but I don't know what it is. I think we kind of covered. Community, I think, is the center of our world. I think we get hyper focused on, presidential politics and national politics when the real change happens right here, right within the people that you meet on a day-to-day basis or talk to on a day-to-day basis. That's how we change things. We don't change things by getting online and stressing about a presidential election. We change things by working towards, how do we make our roads better, our streets better, our water better, our food better, our schools better. Those are the areas that we can affect change in, and I think it's important to remind people of that.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Great. Then we'll go ahead and